15 miles off the Venezuelan coast, a massive explosion shatters the silence as 4 Hellfire missiles rip through a secret fortress belonging to the Tren de Aragua cartel. Maduro thinks his Russian-made S-300 batteries have turned the Caribbean into a no-fly zone for the US. That was a fatal mistake. In the next 60 seconds, we're going to show you how a surgical shadow strike turned a billion-dollar drug empire into a scrap heap, and why Maduro's high-tech defenses were absolutely humiliated by a digital god of war. Maduro wasn't just building a dock, he was erecting a monument to defiance. For 2 years, Venezuelan engineers poured meter-thick reinforced concrete into a massive 200-meter facility near Puerto Cabello, designed to ship 500 kilograms of cocaine every single week. This wasn't just infrastructure, it was a fortress. To protect this hub, the cartel deployed Russian-made Kaluga-NE passive radar systems. Unlike traditional radar that screams pulses, the Kaluga listens, detecting aircraft without revealing its position. Maduro's commanders thought they'd created a ghost zone where they could see American patrols 50 kilometers away without being detected themselves. They felt untouchable. But arrogance in modern warfare is a death sentence. The Kaluga-NE has one fatal blind spot, the cone of silence directly above it. While Venezuelan operators scanned the horizon, a CIA MQ-9 Reaper was already hovering at 50,000 feet, sitting perfectly in their vertical blind spot. 150 miles out, a U.S. Navy Arleigh Burke destroyer operated in total electronic silence, using ELINT to dissect the facility. The Aegis system detected a strange low-frequency electromagnetic hum beneath the concrete. The 200-meter dock was a lie, multi-million-dollar bait, while the real operations hummed in a subterranean bunker below. The shadow strike was about to become a subterranean nightmare. At 0100 hours, the Caribbean became a chessboard where the U.S. Navy played electronic stealth. This wasn't standard patrol. It was surgical precision to bypass coastal defenses and decapitate a criminal empire without triggering World War III. To reach the target without a diplomatic nightmare, the Arleigh Burke executed MCON Phase 3, Maximum Electromagnetic Silence. The massive SPY-6 radar shut down completely. The billion-dollar warship became a floating shadow, invisible to every Venezuelan sensor. At 0130, the destroyer's AN/SLQ-32 electronic warfare suite began a spectral blanket operation. It didn't jam coastal radars, it manipulated them. Instead of creating suspicious black holes, the SLQ-32 fed Russian-made sensors perfectly normal sea clutter. Digital illusion. The coastline looked peaceful while the Reaper sliced through Venezuelan airspace miles away, but the cartel deployed Guardian Angels. Under the waves, 2 Yugo-class mini-submarines patrolled deep-water approaches. Small, cold-running, nearly impossible to track, armed with Test-71 torpedoes that can snap a destroyer's keel. At Era 145, the Burke's towed array sonar caught a faint ping 20 kilometers out. Terrifying standoff. Active sonar would alert the entire coast. Those mini-subs getting close undetected meant an international incident. The Navy's response was masterclass cyber-acoustic warfare. The sonar team deployed a digital ghost, projecting false acoustic returns that led both submarines 5 miles out to sea, chasing phantoms while the real threat slid past. They thought they were hunting an American destroyer. They were chasing their own echoes. Simultaneously, a Russian-trained cyber unit launched a Cozy Bear malware strike, attempting to paralyze the Aegis system for the critical 10 minutes Maduro needed to scramble Su-30 flankers. Digital assassination attempt, sophisticated, aggressive, perfectly timed. But the U.S. Navy's cybersecurity is a fortress. The malware hit the firewall, was instantly quarantined, analyzed, and bounced back to the source. Within seconds, the cartel's own encrypted satellite links fried, their command network reduced to static. They'd shot themselves in the foot, submarines chasing ghosts, cyber attack backfired, radars showing a peaceful ocean. At Aero 2008 in 10 hours, every defense layer had collapsed like a house of cards. The MQ-9 Reaper glided at 5,000 feet, using terrain masking. The Kaluga-NE was designed to detect aircraft from the horizon, not dropping through vertical clutter of mountainous coastline. At 0215, the final piece snapped into place. An MH-60R Romeo helicopter lurked above the jungle tree line, invisible to ground radar. Using its multispectral targeting system, the Romeo punched a high-intensity laser beam through coastal fog, painting the target with a digital death mark no camouflage could hide. 4 AGM-114R Hellfire missiles dropped from the Reaper's pylons. Laser-guided precision screaming at Mach 1.3. Each missile receives mid-course updates from the Aegis system via Link Zone 16, adjusting for wind and humidity in real time. The Cartel's meter-thick fortress had 8 seconds left to exist. Maduro's S-300 batteries never even knew the Reaper was there. The digital god of war was about to pass judgment. Impact. The first 3 Hellfires hit the 200-meter decoy dock with terrifying precision. Meter-thick reinforced concrete, 2 years and millions spent. Pulverized into confetti. The surface facility incinerated in a 3-stage fireball that lit the coastline like a miniature sun. To satellite observers, mission accomplished. Fortress destroyed. But then came the 4th missile, the Masterstroke. While 3 Hellfires shattered the decoy, the 4th tracked a separate laser point. The Burke's ELINT had detected a thermal signature, the bunker's electromagnetic heartbeat, leaking from a 50-centimeter ventilation shaft hidden in jungle foliage 40 meters away. The Cartel's true Achilles heel. The 4th Hellfire didn't hit the dock. It dove into Earth, disappearing into that narrow shaft before detonating deep within bedrock. A massive, muffled subterranean thud shook the coastline, not surface blast, but structural implosion. Thousands of tons of rock and steel collapsed inward, burying the real operation. 100-ton cocaine stockpile, satellite uplinks, subterranean laboratories under a mountain of rubble, requiring months to excavate and years to rebuild. As the Reaper banked toward international airspace, uploading battle damage assessment to Southcom, Maduro's proxies stared at smoking craters where their empire existed. The Cartel believed their decoy would protect them. They'd gambled American intelligence would waste Hellfires on empty concrete. They were convinced their underground bunker, hidden beneath meters of Earth, was undetectable. They proved that in 2025, your best decoys are markers for an American funeral. The billion-dollar hub, 2 years of construction, millions in bribes, Moscow's best passive radar, hardened bunkers, was gone. Surface facility, debris field, subterranean heart, buried under geological weight no excavation crew could move without heavy equipment visible from orbit. The Ghost of the Caribbean was halfway home, laser designator cooling, weapons pylons empty, mission archived. S-300 batteries that were supposed to make this coastline untouchable never fired. Kaluga NE radars that were supposed to see everything saw ghosts. Mini submarines guarding approaches, chased acoustic phantoms. Maduro's fortress was systematically dismantled by a network that never entered Venezuelan airspace with manned aircraft. The shadow strike was exactly that, a shadow. And shadows don't show on radar. But what if Venezuelan Su-30 flankers had scrambled in time? What if Maduro's Air Force launched interceptors while the Reaper was overhead? The result, 200-kilometer execution. The Arleigh Burke's Aegis Baseline 10 doesn't need active radar to find a flanker. Its IRST sensors lock onto Su-30 heat signatures from 200 kilometers away, detecting thermal bloom from twin Saturn AL-31F engines like a beacon. Before the Venezuelan pilot completed his weapons checklist, before arming R-77 missiles or achieving radar lock, an SM-6 Block 2A interceptor would be screaming toward him at Mach 3.5, guidance computer calculating intercept with mathematical certainty. The Su-30 wouldn't just be shot down, it would be deleted from the sky before the pilot ever saw the Reaper. In modern Caribbean airspace, the US Navy doesn't block punches. We end fights before they start. Moscow's best export jets, flown by Venezuelan pilots with Russian training, are high-speed targets for an American software team in a climate-controlled CIC 150 miles away. The hypothetical engagement, 90 seconds from detection to splash. An even louder message than the bunker strike, Venezuelan airspace isn't contested, it's temporarily on loan. The Caribbean shadow strike is a brutal lesson in 21st century warfare. Decoys only work if your enemy is blind. The Tren de Aragua thought meter-thick concrete and fake docks would save their empire. But synergy between CIA intelligence, Navy electronic dominance, and precision strike proved you cannot hide a subterranean heart from a digital god. Modern war isn't about the biggest missiles. It's about the smartest networks. The Cartel brought a shell game to an AI fight and paid with $1 billion funeral. The shadow strike confirmed what every adversary should know. Against the American military-industrial complex, there are no hiding places. Only targets waiting to be unmasked. You can pour concrete, deploy Russian sensors, dig bunkers deep, but if the Aegis Godbrain decides you're a problem, you're not hiding. You're choosing where the rubble lands. Are you proud of the digital warriors guarding American interests? Hit that like button, comment always ready, and subscribe to Navy Vector for the next masterclass in naval dominance. We're breaking down operations that prove technology wins wars before the first shot is fired. Keep your radar on. Go Navy!